Some nights it hits the moment you lie down. You're exhausted, ready to rest, yet somehow wide awake. You flip the pillow, you turn your body, you wait for sleep that never comes. That nagging thought echoes, why won't sleep come? For millions over 65, this unseen battle repeats relentlessly, stripping away peace and inner calm. Don't click away. Stay with me, because the next minutes may finally point you toward real relief. Uncover a profound, centuries-old Japanese ritual, a remarkably gentle, simple technique performed with just your hands that masterfully calms your body, soothes your breath, and seamlessly guides your brain toward restorative, natural sleep. Zero pills, zero devices. Most older adults report tangible improvement within 7 days. Now for a crucial insight often overlooked. A landmark review in insomnia in the elderly, echoed by the Sleep Foundation, reveals a startling truth. While 40% to 70% of older adults grapple with severe sleep disturbances, shockingly, less than 1 in 5 ever discovers a natural pathway to restore their intrinsic sleep cycle. And simple breath and touch techniques can lower nighttime heart rate and nudge the nervous system toward rest in under a week. This is precisely why staying until the very end is paramount. Each deliberate step of this ritual is meticulously designed to reclaim your peaceful, restorative nights. Before we go forward, share just one quick thing in the comments. How many hours did you sleep last night? Just a number. It helps you track your own patterns and reminds others they're not alone. And if you haven't yet, tap subscribe so you never miss the gentle, science-based habits that help older adults sleep deeper and feel better. Now let's begin. 1. Why sleep becomes difficult. After 65, physiology and the nervous system. Many older adults believe that poor sleep is simply an unavoidable part of aging, but it isn't. In truth, what happens after 65 is far more subtle and far more hopeful. The body doesn't break, it simply forgets the rhythm of rest. Over the years, the nervous system becomes too alert, too cautious, too ready to react. And when the body stays prepared for danger, even tiny harmless things can keep it awake. I've seen this pattern thousands of times. People do everything right, winding down early, turning off screens, dimming the lights, and yet the body refuses to settle. The mind keeps spinning, the heart beats faster than it should, muscles stay tense long after the day has ended, and slowly, night after night, frustration replaces hope. Let me share a story with you. Eleanor Brooks, 74, from Asheville, North Carolina, came to see me after nearly a decade of broken sleep. She said, "Doctor, I fall asleep tired and wake up tired. It feels like my body is fighting my brain." Her words mirror what so many older adults feel but rarely say aloud. What Eleanor didn't realize, and what many people don't, is that her body and brain had simply lost their conversation with each other. Before we go deeper, write one simple thing in the comments. My sleep challenge right now is, a short answer helps others feel less alone and helps us understand your journey. Now here's what's happening inside. As we age, the body's internal rhythm, its circadian clock, slowly drifts off beat. Melatonin, the hormone that signals darkness and rest, is released at irregular times. At the same time, cortisol, the alertness hormone, tends to stay elevated far longer than it should. This creates a strange tug of war. The brain wants to rest, but the body behaves as if morning never truly ended. There is solid research behind this. A 2020 Frontiers in Neurology review shows that aging disrupts the body's natural circadian rhythm, leading to the nighttime alertness many older adults struggle with. Older adults often say to me, "I'm exhausted, but I can't switch off. It feels like something inside me is still running. It's like my off button is stuck." And they're right. Over decades, the nervous system becomes conditioned to stay slightly alert. Traffic noise, medications, chronic pain, loneliness. Even small daily worries, the news, finances, health appointments, quietly nudge the nervous system toward vigilance. These tiny stress signals stack up slowly. So slowly that most people never notice the shift, until one day rest no longer comes naturally. When I met Eleanor, her heart rate was slightly elevated even at bedtime. Her muscles remained subtly tense. Her body was acting as if it might need to protect her, even in the safety of her own bedroom. But this wasn't a permanent condition. It was simply a misunderstanding between body and mind. Here's the encouraging part. The body can be taught to feel safe again. Safety is the foundation of sleep. not exhaustion. Most people think sleep begins when you close your eyes, but it actually begins when your nervous system releases its guard. When the body senses safety, everything shifts. Breath slows, heart rate drops, muscle tone softens. And here's something Eleanor discovered, and something you can discover too. The body responds to the simplest signals when they are gentle, consistent, and familiar. The technique I'll teach later in this episode, a hand and breath ritual used for generations in Japan, works not because it's mystical, but because it communicates in the body's oldest biological language, touch, rhythm, and breath. This kind of rhythmic stimulation has been shown in studies from the University of Pennsylvania to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest and recovery, within minutes. Eleanor practiced this method every night for 1 week. When she returned, she said, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I woke up before my alarm, rested." Not because she forced sleep, but because her body finally remembered what calm feels like. In the next section, we're going to explore the ancient language of the body, breath, touch, and rhythm, and why these signals can bring you back into deep, natural sleep far more quickly than most medications ever could. Stay with me. This is where the change truly begins. 2. The body's oldest language, breath, touch, and rhythm. Many people hear the phrase, the body's oldest language, and think it sounds poetic or mysterious. But it isn't mystical at all. It's deeply physical, rooted in the way our nervous system has communicated safety long before we had words. Long before language, the body used 3 signals to calm itself: touch, breath, and rhythm. These were our earliest tools for self-soothing: a slow exhale, a warm hand, a steady heartbeat. Together they whispered one simple message: you're safe. You can let go. Every gentle touch, every measured breath softened the body and allowed rest to come naturally. But as life became louder, bright screens, constant alerts, daily stress, those quiet signals were drowned out. The body didn't stop knowing them. It simply stopped hearing them. It breaks my heart how often I see people over 65 lying in bed, tense and overstimulated, scrolling through their phones, barely breathing at all. Instead of stillness, the body hears alarms: light, noise, worry, memory, and the nervous system stays on guard. When the body feels unsafe, sleep becomes nearly impossible, no matter how soft the mattress or how dark the room is. This is where the science becomes beautiful. Modern research supports what ancient practices have known for centuries. A study in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that slow, controlled breathing and gentle somatic touch activate the parasympathetic system, the part of the nervous system that slows heart rate and triggers deep rest. This is the same system that calms a crying infant and helps an anxious adult regain control. It is universal, ageless, and always present. Think of this oldest language like a familiar tune. The body still remembers the melody even if the mind has forgotten the words. And with the right cues, that memory wakes up, sometimes faster than people expect. Now you may wonder why I mention the hands so often. Why start there? Why not the breath alone, or the chest, or the face? Here's why. The hands are one of the body's strongest pathways into the nervous system. They're dense with sensory nerves, temperature receptors, and pressure points linked to the heart and brain. In Japanese traditional medicine, the hands are seen as translators between mind and body, always ready to send messages of peace. And science agrees. Studies from the University of California show that warmth and pressure applied to the hands increase vagal tone, which helps slow the heartbeat, regulate breathing, and trigger the body's relaxation response. The heartbeat softens first, then the breath deepens, then the mind follows, because it finally senses that the body is listening again. It's amazing how something so small can create such a deep shift. A warm hand held with intention, a steady breath, a quiet moment of awareness. These simple acts reopen pathways the body thought it had lost. People assume they need years of meditation or complex rituals to calm their mind, but that's not true. The simplest gesture, when done with presence, can awaken the entire system. I've watched it happen again and again. Before we move into the next part of the practice, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with just one thing. My hands feel, right now, warm, cold, tense, relaxed, anything. Your comment helps you tune into your own body, and it helps others feel less alone on this journey. In the next section, we'll explore exactly how the finger-holding meditation works, step by step, and why it can shift your entire nervous system in just a few minutes of gentle practice. 3. The Japanese finger-holding meditation, a simple ritual that resets the body. There is a technique we teach in Japan that captures the essence of calm more perfectly than almost anything else. It's simple, gentle, and surprisingly powerful. It takes less than a minute to begin, requires no equipment, and yet it can help reset the body's internal rhythm in a way many older adults haven't felt in years. When I show it for the first time, people often smile or even laugh, not because it's strange, but because it seems too simple to matter. And then when they feel what it does to their body, the laughter turns into quiet amazement. You begin by taking one hand in the other, gently, the way you might hold the hand of someone you love and don't want to wake. Then wrap your fingers around a single finger. It can be the thumb or whichever finger feels most natural. The only rule is this: apply light, steady pressure, not squeezing, not forcing, just enough to feel the faint pulse beneath your thumb. And then you breathe. A slow inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, a long, soft exhale through the mouth for 6 or 7. Each breath becomes a small wave, rocking the body towards stillness. Let me share a story that always stays with me. Her name is Diane Foster, 79 years old, from Santa Rosa, California. Diane battled nighttime anxiety for almost a decade. She told me, "Doctor, my mind feels tired, but my body acts like it's standing guard." That feeling is more common than most people realize. When I taught her this finger-holding practice, she promised to try it for a week. 7 days later, she returned with a softness in her eyes and said, "For the first time in years, my body listened to me." Moments like that remind me why this ritual endures. Before we go further, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Tonight I will practice for 10 minutes. Just fill in the blank. It's your way of setting an intention, and it encourages others too. Now as you hold the finger and breathe, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. The heart slows, the shoulders drop, the breath deepens without you trying. The mind begins to drift toward images instead of words, a sign the brain is shifting into its recovery mode. Stay with one finger for about 10 breaths. Feel its warmth. Notice its rhythm. Feel how the pulse slowly begins to match your breathing. That gentle synchronization is your body remembering what calm feels like. This tiny ritual works because the hands are not just hands. They are gateways into the nervous system. The palms and fingertips are rich with sensory nerves that communicate directly with the parasympathetic pathways, the ones responsible for rest, recovery, and quiet healing. When you warm them, hold them, or apply gentle pressure, your body receives the message, "You are safe now." And when the body feels safe, everything changes. The skin softens, the muscles loosen, the breath lengthens, the heartbeat settles. It's the same cascade the body naturally uses to fall asleep. Only now you're helping it remember. After finishing one finger, you move slowly to the next. Index, middle, ring, and finally the pinky. 10 to 12 breaths each. There's no rush. Presence matters far more than speed. Some people prefer doing this lying down, with their hands resting gently on their chest or stomach. Others sit upright with elbows supported, letting gravity add a little weight to the gesture. Both approaches work beautifully as long as the body's relaxed, unhurried, and open to the process. As you continue, you'll notice small signs of the shift: a sigh, eyes growing heavier, thoughts dissolving, the body sinking deeper into stillness. These signals mean the nervous system is switching tracks, leaving alertness behind and entering the place where recovery begins. In Japan, this method has been used for generations, not only for sleeplessness, but also for anxiety, grief, and emotional heaviness. And today, modern research supports the same truth our ancestors understood intuitively. Gentle, intentional touch paired with slow breathing calms the nervous system and restores balance. It's not magic, it's memory. The body doesn't need to be forced. It simply needs to be reminded. When you hold your fingers and breathe, you're whispering to your body, "I'm safe. You can rest now." And your body listens, often more quickly than you expect. In the next section, we'll explore what happens deeper inside the body when you practice this ritual. how cortisol softens, how circulation shifts, and why older adults can reclaim calm even after years of poor sleep. 4. How the body heals at night, the biology of safety, calm, and true rest. In the quiet that follows this gentle practice, something remarkable begins to happen. Warmth returns to the hands, the breath softens, and the heartbeat settles into a steady rhythm. It's as if the body finds a part of itself it had misplaced years ago, a natural doorway back into rest. This is what so many older adults describe. Not a forced sleep, but a familiar calm rising on its own. One of the most comforting truths I've learned over the years is this. The body responds quickly to kindness. The more consistently you practice this simple ritual, the faster those signals of calm come alive. Many older adults notice that within a week, they're drifting off before they even finish both hands. It becomes a soft conversation between pulse and breath, the body and the mind agreeing that the day has ended. What matters isn't doing it perfectly. What matters is listening. When you offer the body gentle attention, it answers. When you offer safety, it softens. And when you offer rhythm, it follows. People often ask, but what about those of us who have struggled for years? Can the body really learn again? And the answer is yes, because the pathways for calm never disappear. They simply become quiet. Breath and touch reactivate those circuits, waking up nerves, hormonal patterns, and tiny biochemical exchanges that have been waiting for the right signal. That's why it's so important to remember. No one is too old, too stressed, or too far into years of poor sleep to begin again. Aging slows the pace of the body, but it does not erase its potential. The same nervous system that once soothed you as a child still lives within you. The same cells capable of rest and regulation are still present, still responsive, still ready. Sleep is not something you force. Sleep is something you invite. When you stop pushing, stop bracing, stop battling your own body, something shifts. The ritual becomes an invitation rather than a command. And invitations are far more powerful. They allow the body to join you willingly instead of resisting out of habit. There is also a deeper truth here, a truth older adults often feel instinctively. Sleep depends on trust, not the emotional kind, but the biological kind, a sense of inner safety. When the body feels safe, the breath deepens. When the breath deepens, the heart slows. And when the heart slows, sleep follows naturally. This is why this small practice carries so much weight. It teaches safety from the inside out. It reminds your body that it is allowed to rest. It rebuilds the quiet sense of trust that aging, stress, and years of vigilance can erode. And once the body feels safe again, everything else, breath, heartbeat, rhythm, and sleep, begins to realign. It's a gentle truth many older adults forget after years of struggling with their own bodies. We fight sleep, we try to force calm, we push through exhaustion, and all that effort only pulls us further away from rest. What this practice does is simple. It turns the fight into a friendship. It reminds the body that it doesn't need to be controlled, only invited. If there's one line I want you to carry with you tonight, it's this. Rest isn't the absence of movement. It's the return to harmony. Every breath is an invitation back to that balance. And if this message brought you even a moment of peace, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a short comment for the Senior Health Guard community. Tell us, I finished the episode. Your voice helps others feel less alone. And don't miss the next video. We're diving into a nighttime routine that helps older adults fall asleep faster and wake up clearer, calmer, and more restored.